Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Pete Docter's Inside Out in 2015. So yes, here we are, another animated review, of course, and this time I have a Pixar film to review here. This is my first rewatch of the film. I saw this back in 2017 for the first time, and yeah, this is a very acclaimed film. It's one of the most acclaimed Pixar films, and a lot of people saying it was kind of a return to form for Pixar and stuff. But I don't really personally think there's ever really been, for at least more than a year or so, a dip with Pixar. I think they've always really produced some great works, some really stunning stuff here, and just I think mostly very consistent. There's been a couple, a few that, like Cars, which I don't like. Who knows? I might somehow like that on a rewatch, but I never liked Cars. And yeah, I think there's just a couple other ones that are not quite up to the standards. But yes, really, mostly they are very consistent. Yes, this film is very popular. It's in the top 250 on IMDb. Yeah, just a film that's been named as one of the best, sort of animated films in recent memory, and just one of the best films of 2015. So yes, I watched it back in 2017, and let me tell you, this film really blew me away, and just I could not believe it. It was such a wonderful film, and so creative. This is not a film I'd really heard too much about before going into and stuff. I knew roughly what it was kind of exploring and stuff, but yes, basically there's this girl named Riley, and it's kind of mostly set inside her mind, although of course you do see her in her normal life as well, outside of her mind. And you've got these personified emotions, basically, and of course joy and sadness are the main two. Joy is of course voiced by Amy Poehler, and yeah, of course you've got sadness as well, as I say, and you've got disgust, anger, and fear, and basically they're the main emotions, and they can basically control her thoughts and stuff, and they're there. They've got the task every day to kind of control there's machines in the film and stuff inside her mind, and it's kind of this whole world in her mind, and it's so creative. You've got different things going on here, and it's just very kind of complex at times. All different machines that they're there to operate, and you've got core memories. You've got so much involved here, and it's just, of course, shortly after you see kind of kind of a prologue, if you like, Riley growing up from from birth, basically. Things go wrong. She moves house, of course. The parents move with her from Minnesota to San Francisco, and that's of course when things start to go wrong. And of course, shortly after that, sadness and joy are separated from the rest of the emotions, and yeah, basically they have to make sure that things don't go wrong for Riley with her emotions. Of course, sadness starts accidentally touching things, the memories and stuff, and then of course things go wrong. They kind of get altered in ways they shouldn't, and of course, yeah, it's basically kind of an adventure film for them to and other side characters as well, to get back and basically, yeah, stop things from going completely wrong for Riley, and of course, you see at the same time it kind of flips back, to her actual life. You're seeing her, at school and stuff, her new school, and just of course struggling with things. And yes, she begins to become more and more detached and stuff, and her emotions are playing up. And yes, this is what the main bulk of the film, is kind of about. But yeah, it's a very short film, and I just didn't know how good this would be. I maybe thought I didn't really think it would be one of my favourite Pixar films, because I do love so many, but let me tell you, this is one of the best, in my opinion. I do think it's a masterpiece, no doubt, and just in every sense for me, a wonderful film, and just because it's not just such a creative one, and a great narrative, flawless narrative for me. It's got so much, kind of emotion in the film. It's such an emotional film, and very. A couple of moments that brought me to tears, actually. Especially towards the end of the film. It's very emotional, this, and just I loved how human it was, and just really it was such a true to life film, and just very gentle and spiritual film. Really it's very full of heart, this film, and the sense of wonder. It's all here. This is masterful in its visuals. It's probably one of the best Pixar kind of visuals, I would say, actually. Just all the emotions, especially joy. It's just so eye-popping. The use of colours in this film is certainly one of the best. In terms of modern animation, full stop. I think it's absolutely stunning, and just throughout the visuals, the colours are absolutely genius. The way they use colours in this film, and just this is such a kind of the narrative unfolds in such a kind of seamless way, and just in the end, it's so satisfying. This is not a spoiler review, of course, but yeah, it comes together so wonderfully at the end, and just to give such an emotional payoff, and yeah, just to actually say quite a lot of statements, although it's not preachy film or anything. It's very sincere and kind-hearted, and it's a truly wonderful film. It's about growing up, of course, and just accepting change, how to deal with this, and it's very relatable in that sense. Moving house and stuff, and a horrible time can be anyway, especially for a kid. And it's just so powerful in that sense, and at the same time, all the emotions in the film, the characters are such great characters. They're not just one-sided emotions or anything. They are fleshed out. They're kind of they're completely realised characters, and just so entertaining. Although of course distinct. And kind of they do. Yes, they are recognisable by what they're meant to be. Anger and stuff, but they are great, especially of course joy and sadness. The two of them together, it's just great. I loved how enjoyable this is. So enjoyable, this film, and just the kind of character development in the film for Riley is just genius here. And the family as well. Of course, she has parents in the film. That are trying to, they're seeing, wondering what's happened to her and stuff, and why she's feeling different. And yeah, it's all about kind of connection with different people, relationships, and family life, and yeah, it's just at times so uplifting, and of course so powerful as well. It's got kind of a kind of very spiritual feel at times, this film, and I just loved how they merged the actual what's going on in her life with the inside of her mind. It was really masterful here. It could have been maybe jarring, not kind of feeling as one, but it was really perfectly pulled off for my liking, and just never distracted, never took away. It was just complete in that sense, and I just think the score as well by Michael Giacchino, really stunning. This is really moving stuff, and there's some real epic moments actually in the score. Especially with that scene, when they're kind of flying up, I'm not going to ruin it if you've not seen the film, but yeah, just something else. The use of music throughout the film, and this is just a truly wonderful animated film. And yeah, it's such a nostalgic film. This one, it taps into this, nostalgic feelings. Of course, when Riley moves, she's constantly kind of looking back, to different past times, and it uses this, in the form of memories in the film. It has different types of memories that they kind of explore in the film. These long-term memories, of course, and just these core memories. I love how that they explore this, and the way this is incorporated into the actual narrative, and their kind of the drive of the film. These characters, these emotions, trying to kind of keep these kind of precious, and look after them, and not allow sadness to kind of take over this. But then of course in the end, it becomes clear that the kind of sadness is also needed. That's one of the way that what the film says. It's not just you don't just need happiness in life, and it's really powerful in that sense. And just the whole nostalgic feeling that the film has is truly something I connect to immensely, and just wonderfully, the way that these themes, are explored. And of course, you can't really predict where this film, will go the first time you see it. In the first sort of 15 minutes or so, it's very different to, what it kind of pans out like. I did not know what to expect, basically, and what I got was something truly wonderful. As I say, I loved how it was as an adventure film. But it was never completely far off of where they kind of started in that sense. They're all in this kind of in this mind, and you can constantly see where they came from and stuff, you know, inside the kind of control room and stuff. And it's so focused, and I loved some of the side characters as well. Bing Bong, you know, this is hilarious character. He's kind of comedy relief character, you think at first, but actually, wow, you know, this is actually some of the most emotional stuff. How that, you know, kind of pans out. You know, yeah, that was one of the most you know, emotional moments in the film. You know, when that culminated, of course. Bing Bong, loved that character, and just yeah, it's just so genius as well. The sequence when they go to kind of 2D, you know, and they have to squeeze through, you know, the gap and stuff, and it's moments like this that are just really, you know, to call it creative is an understatement, and just, you know, it never sidetracks though, just to kind of showcase this. It's always you know, focused on this emotional story and human one, and it's something that, you know, it's very, very creative and kind of so different. This film, you know, it's so unique and you know, genius stuff, but it is always focused on these pure emotions, you know, of this child's mind, and to say something, you know, about childhood, growing up, and you know, to maybe never truly grow up, which is a wonderful statement, you know, wonderful kind of just sincere message in the way it's done, and you know, I just think it's such a charming film. You know, I just feel amazing when I watched this. Of course, while it does, you know, really, really move me, it's just the one that mostly is so joyous and you know, just uplifting, and yeah, I just think it's definitely among my favourite films, certainly of the century, and it definitely has a place on my, well, certainly 300 at the moment. I think this is an absolute masterpiece, and at the moment, you know, it really is one of my favourite films of the century, and you know, of course, I do think it's one of the best films, you know, the 2010s, and just an absolute masterpiece. It does actually edge into my plus tiers. Yeah, I have justified. I really think that this film, you know, is such a creative one. It's so human. You know, the emotions I got from this, and just, yeah, it's very, very short and stuff. But it's such a complete narrative. It's so investing. You know, this character of Riley. You know, I was constantly, you know, just invested in this character and just moved by this story and all the emotions in the film. You know, it's such a hilarious film, but it is very, very emotional as well. And yes, it gets 100% plus. Tier 3, no doubt, and you know, it isn't a tier 2 or higher than that, but you know, that really is a special film. You know, to get a tier 3, of course, even by me, that means, you know, definitely my top 250 of all time. You know, at the moment, that will obviously extend, you know, that tier, all the tiers apart from maybe tier S. You know, it's very hard to do that, but they'll extend, of course, as I see more films. I'm not going to stop any films getting in there, but yes, you know, at the moment, looking on my list, it is, you know, it's not more than 250. That's all I'll say. So that really, that is special, you know, to get that, you know, accolade, you know, by me. I think this is just, it's definitely my top 5 Pixar's. You know, I do prefer at least one of the Toy Story films, and I do prefer The Incredibles. But wow, you know, this film is so wonderful. You know, it's just full of whimsy, you know, joy. It's such a magical film. You know, and it's just this pure emotions that I get from the film. You know, I loved how these emotions, you know, are not one-sided, even though they are very distinct. And you know, I just loved the humour in the film. I also loved how you get to see inside the minds of other people. You know, and that's all. Each character has unique kind of emotions in their head as well, the way they look and stuff, and it's just so funny. You know, and just it's so creative. This film, you know, the ideas that went into this and the way they're executed, it's something for me to behold. It's just a wonderful film in my opinion, and you know, I think probably it's definitely my top 5 of 2015 as well. There's a couple I prefer to this, but this is definitely one of the best for me, and yeah, one of the among the best animated films that I've seen. You know, it's not you know, kind of it's not in my top 100 films of all time or anything, but it is one of my favourite films among them. And yeah, if you've not seen the film, I couldn't recommend it more. You know, this is definitely for me a flawless film, and you know, I definitely think it's one of the best Pixar's, as I say. And yeah, I just think just a true film. You know, in terms of the emotions, the level of humanity, and the way they balance out, you know, the kind of the everyday life, you know, of Riley, seeing that with inside of her mind, and the way it kind of the way it connects seamlessly is just so well executed, of course, and yeah, just the score, the way it's edited, of course, as I've been saying, and just all these characters and how invested in this narrative was. This is, 2 thumbs up from me. This is absolutely genius stuff, and yeah, I absolutely adore this film. It's something that I really connect to on every level, and yeah, just an absolute masterpiece, no doubt for me personally. I'd recommend it. Not everyone will love the film, but I personally do, and definitely, I think it's one of the best Pixar's, as I say. So yes, more big films coming this week for me reviewing. Of course, I'll be reviewing a lot of my favourites. From different directors, i.e. Chaplin, Spielberg as well, and yeah, can't wait to do them, of course. And thanks for watching my review.